you answer yes to one of the names, we will come back to further explore that name. Does that make sense?
I think so. Let's try it, see how it works.
So the question is, have you ever had a conversation with any of the following people about Jeffrey Epstein, his crimes, his criminal investigations, or in regard to sexual activity of any kind?
Okay, so not have you ever had a conversation with them, but have you had a conversation with them about those topics? Do you want to repeat it so that we are solid here?
Sure. Have you ever had a conversation with any of the following people about Jeffrey Epstein, his crimes, his criminal investigations, or in regard to sexual activity of any kind? The first name is Ghislaine Maxwell.
No.
Richard Kahn.
No.
Darren Endyke.
No.
Sarah Kellen.
No.
Leslie Groff.
No.
Nadia Marcinkova.
No.
Kathy Rumler.
No.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly Prince Andrew.
No.
Peter Mandelson, former UK ambassador to the United States.
No.
Stephen Hoffenberg.
No.
John-Luc Brunel.
No.
Jess Staley.
No.
Paul Morris.
No.
Stephen Cutler.
No.
Mary Casey.
No.
Justin Nelson.
No.
Leon Black.
No.
Glenn Dubin.
No.
Eva Anderson Dubin.
Kind of put those as question marks because I think I'll tell you the answer later because I want to be completely,
Understood. Bill Gates.
No.
Any person elected or appointed to any federal office.
No.
Any foreign government officials.
No.
So you said you wanted to clarify on Glenn Dubin and Eva Anderson Dubin.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have clarification on that?
Yeah. I know both of them. I met Ava when I thought she and Jeffrey were engaged and going to get married. And I met Glenn at Harvard, I don't know, 10 or maybe 20 years ago. He was acquainted with someone there. And I was at it might have been David Gergen's funeral, something like that. And I saw them, and I hadn't seen them in, I don't know, 10 or 15 years. And they said hello and said something, isn't this a shame? What happened to Jeffrey? And I said, yeah, it's a shame, something like that. It was that vague. But most of the names that you mentioned, I've never heard before. I don't know those people.
With Glenn Dubin, you said it was 10 to 20 years ago at Harvard. When you mentioned Eva Anderson Dubin, you said you thought she was engaged to Jeffrey Epstein. Do you know approximately when that was?
About the time I got engaged to Abigail, so at about 92.
Okay.
But I haven't seen either of them until David Gergen's funeral for maybe a decade. I hadn't talked to him, never socialized with him.
Can we just clarify something? Because I think you previously testified that when you met Miss Maxwell, it was around the time of your engagement to Abigail.
Right. Didn't I just say that?
No, you were talking about Eva Anderson.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, then I met Ava about the time I got, how could that be? I must have met Ava when I met Jeffrey, and then met Glenn when I got engaged. That's
So Ava would have been
10 years before.
early to mid 80s.
Yeah, whatever it was. And I think I was only with her once. with them once.
So you never, just to clarify one more name on here, you never spoke with Ghislaine Maxwell about Mr. Epstein or his criminal investigations of any kind?
Never.
It had come out a few years ago now that Ohio State University did a review of their donations, and they identified a little over $300,000 in donations directly from Mr. Epstein and one of his foundations. Ohio State also reported a gift of approximately $2.5 million from the COUQ Foundation, which is another entity of Mr. Epstein's. Did you help facilitate any donations from Jeffrey Epstein to Ohio State University?
Never.
Did you personally ask Mr. Epstein to donate to Ohio State University?
Never.
Did you ever speak to any Ohio State University Board of Trustees members regarding Mr. Epstein or his donations to the university?
Never.
We discussed earlier in this deposition around the time frame of 2019 if you had any involvement with law enforcement as they investigated Mr. Epstein for his crimes he was ultimately charged with in New York. Just to clarify, did you speak to any law enforcement agency of any kind regarding Jeffrey Epstein's investigation in New York in 2019?
Never. Didn't. No, I don't remember ever talking to any law enforcement agency.
Did you ever provide any documentation to any law enforcement agency of any kind regarding Jeffrey Epstein and his investigation in New York in 2019?
Not to my knowledge.
And just to be clear, you never formally interviewed with anyone from the FBI or Department of Justice about Jeffrey Epstein or his criminal investigation in 2019?
Never.
Did Mr. Epstein ever contact you or attempt to contact you after his arrest in 2019?
I don't think so. He was dead.
Well, before he died?
No, I mean dead with me.
Understood. Did anyone affiliated with Mr. Epstein ever reach out to you in 2019 regarding his investigation in New York?
Never. No.
How did you first learn of Jeffrey Epstein's death in the MCC in New York City?
Probably watching CNN.
No one directly contacted you about his death?
No one ever contacted me about Jeffrey's death.
Did you ever have any reason to believe that Mr. Epstein's life was in any sort of danger?
No.
You mentioned in what is Majority Exhibit 3, your statement from this morning. On page 3, in the second to last paragraph, last sentence, while others visited Epstein in jail and associated with him after his release, I did not. Are you aware of who did, in fact, visit Mr. Epstein in jail during that time?
Directly, David Gergen told me he did, after he did.
And can you remind us who David Gergen is?
David Gergen was professor of practice at the Kennedy School. He was advisor to 4 presidents of the United States, TV personality.
And did he tell you?
My friend.
Sorry to cut you off. Did Mr. Gergen tell you anything about his visit to Mr. Epstein while he was incarcerated?
No, he just told me that he and his wife visited Jeffrey, and he asked me if I did, and I said no, I wouldn't visit that son of a bitch. And asked him why he did.
Did Mr. Gergen inform you as to why he went to visit Mr. Epstein while he was incarcerated?
Yeah, surprisingly, he said, like, sometimes people that you're acquainted with get into trouble, and you should be kind or nice to them. Something that vague, which seemed completely out of character for Gergen.
Did you, what was your response to Mr. Gergen when he posed that to you?
I think I said, I'm surprised at you, David.
I'm going to switch gears a little bit here. You mentioned that David Gergen was a friend of yours. How do you characterize that Mr. Gergen was a friend? What made him a friend to you?
We probably met when he went to the Kennedy School from his job at the White House. And so he was like a professor of practice in the Center of Public Leadership. And then he became the director of the Center of Public Leadership. And that was one of my main interests is public leadership. And we became friends, and from very different backgrounds. I didn't have much of an education, Yale, Harvard, working in the White House. And we became very close friends. And his wife reminded me after his funeral that we would talk every Sunday. And it's like, I know you might have friends or acquaintances you talk to regularly. I didn't even realize that we did that. We'd share books, talk about what was going on in the world. And it was very much a part of my life. And he was a wonderful person.
So he was someone you would communicate with frequently?
Well, if I was bitched out about the government, I'd call David, or we'd be talking about what was going on in the CPL, and we were talking about fundraising for CPL or interviewing professors for CPL, and raising money for fellowships. It was pretty much focused about government public interest things, because that we had in common. He was a lawyer, and I sold apparel, so.
Would you say that you talked to Mr. Gergen more frequently than you talked to Mr. Epstein?
Oh,
of
yes.
course, prior to you and Mr. Epstein terminating your...
Yeah, I talked to him more regularly. I wouldn't have remembered the repetition or the periodicity. Ann Gergen told me that after David's death, how much he looked forward to our Sunday calls. And I don't know, as you get older, sometimes you look back and somebody touches your life and you don't realize, that you're calling him every Sunday. Because that was just, like you brush your teeth every Sunday, I'd call him or he'd call me.
Apologies, I'm going to switch gears quite a bit here. We were discussing a lot earlier that the property that Mr. Epstein had owned that was, I believe you characterized as adjacent to your property, formerly Jack Kessler's house. When, at any point, did people need to use your gates or go through your property to access that house?
No, the properties weren't connected. There's kind of a woods between them and fields. There was no driveway. They were separate. It would be a struggle to walk between the two on foot.
Understood. Speaking about your boat design and manufacture and boat launch has been mentioned a couple times here today. Did Mr. Epstein ever travel with you or board your yacht at any point?
Not that I recall.
Did Miss Maxwell ever travel with you on that boat at any point?
Absolutely not.
Were there any other boat trips that you and Mr. Epstein would have taken together at any point?
None. I don't think I ever went anywhere on that boat without my wife and family.
Understood. Do you use any aliases or nicknames when you communicate with people you're associated with?
No, less. Sometimes LHW, that's it.
Are you aware of Mr. Epstein having any aliases or nicknames that he would commonly use?
No,
Are you aware of Miss Maxwell having any aliases or nicknames that she would commonly use?
no.
When speaking about your boat, you seemed to be very certain that Miss Maxwell had never taken any type of boat trip with you. Is there a reason why you were more sure about her not attending any boat trips with you?
Because it couldn't be, I'm not sure that, I know that Jeffrey didn't take any boat trips with me. That's for sure. And so I might not have perfect recall, but I'm positive he never took any boat trips. So I'm positive that she never took any boat trips because I only saw her a couple times in my life.
Understood. Are you aware of, let me back up first. Mr. Epstein did a lot of foreign travel. Would you say that's an accurate statement?
That's kind of I want to answer because I don't want you to be tricking me. I thought he traveled a lot. When I thought he traveled a lot, once I knew he was a fraud, I don't believe he traveled at all. I mean, he told me he was in Switzerland. He told me he was anywhere in the world, and I believed him. That son of a bitch could have been in bed. I didn't know where he was calling from.
To the best of your knowledge, he would inform you that he was traveling all over the world.
Oh, yeah, I'm in Saudi Arabia working for the king. I'm in Switzerland talking to banks, and I'm really busy and I'm tired, and he'd hang up. So he would reach out to me erratically and sometimes frequently, but I never believed that he said, I didn't if my wife told me she was in Chicago, I would believe it. If my lawyer said he was in Columbus, I would believe it. If I call Matt up, I don't ask my lawyer from Columbus. I say, are you in Columbus or are you, in bed or wherever the hell you are? And I think that was part of Jeffrey's con. And it just grinds the hell out of me that he was so busy. But I don't believe any of it now. I think it was complete bullshit. And it was part of the con.
Understood. Is it fair to say that Mr. Epstein would flout that he had foreign contacts, whether it be foreign dignitaries or, contacts in foreign governments, something to that effect?
Do you mean flaunt?
Flaunt, yes, sorry, long day.
It's been a long day.
Yes.
Do you have any knowledge of Mr. Epstein holding citizenships in any other countries other than the United States of America?